It has never been easier to earn money in Grand Theft Auto Online. I've been grinding CEO Cargo, the Acid Lab and Cayo Perico for a little while now. And what seems to happen is that I hover at about 30 million, then buy something useful. Then I grind again, buy something else useful, and again, etc, etc. All of these things are very useful, but none of them are interesting. Then a wise person said to me this week, well, they said I've got a face a dog wouldn't lick, which I thought was quite harsh, but then someone else said, the money is only worth what you spend it on. So I've decided to go spending. I'm going to have a $30 million blowout, and I'm going to build some cool cars in the process. To do this, obviously I've had to buy something useful and then grind back up to 30 million again, which is pretty typical for me. And that thing I've had to buy is the 20-car garage attached to my office. So now I'm going to try and fill this garage, spending as much as I can in the process. Before we start, I have rules, because I need rules. The first is not to waste money on maximum upgrades. I can put a few on each car, but the aim is to fill the garage. I've got 3 floors, and each of them must have a theme. So, just like with shelves, the top one is going to be filled with filth. There's just dirty filth going up there, nothing else. Everything else I buy needs to be things I want, not things I need. So nothing on this list is here because it's good or because it's the best in its class. It's here because I want it. The middle shelf will be movie cars, and we'll do a build for each one. And another self-imposed rule here is there'll be nothing ready-made from film or TV in here, so no Vigilantes and no Deluxos. That would just be too easy. There's a time code for each build in the description if you want to go straight to it, but we're starting with the bottom shelf. And these need to go at the bottom because they're all older British and Italian cars, and any higher and they would just break down when you pulled them in. So let's get down to it, because the bottom shelf is all about the Italian job. And we'll start with the Weenie Issy Classic. And I need 3 of these, but I'll just show you the build for the first one. And we'll start with the red one. So what we need here, we need the smaller wheels, the 10-inch wheels, and the driving lights. They don't have quite the right ones, and they don't have the bonnet straps either. But with the arches removed, I think this is close enough. Now to do the same in white, and then again in blue. And that's stage 1 done. And it is only stage 1, because we were spoilt for choice for cars in the Italian job. Next we need the Miura, which in GTA would be the Pegassi Monroe. And again, this is easy. Just choose the orange one, and that's about it, as long as you get the right wheels, because this really should have the knock-on wheels with the triple wing nut. And it's much the same with Charlie's Aston. They don't have the convertible, but a silver Debachi JB700 will do just fine. We'll just ignore the machine guns for now. Last, we're going to try and make the Moto Guzzi police bikes from the chase scenes. And I don't know how close I'm going to be able to get with this, because I was going to start with the Manchester Scout, but looking at it, I think the Dinka Enduro is a slightly better match. I couldn't create the windshield with any of these bikes, so we'll just have to paint that green and be done with it. And that's the ground floor done, for a bargain price of 2 million. Right, now it's time for some movie cars. Now you might have seen some of these before, but all of these are a must-have if you're wanting to do a movie car collection. Starting with probably the most obvious one, and that's Eleanor. No movie car collection is complete without an Eleanor. So we'll grab an Ellie and we'll get going. Now I'd much rather do this build with a Dominator, but you can't do the twin centre driving lights. So without that you just lose too much of the look. So this needs to have the side exit exhausts. Obviously the deep silver paint job, which is quite difficult to match. Then you've got the twin centre stripes. And then it's onto the wheels, which again are difficult to match, but the Battle 8s seem to be pretty good, so we'll go with those. Now sticking with the Mustang, but this time moving to the Dominator, we'll do the next movie car, which is the Bullitt Mustang. So the Dominator is actually based on the newer Mustang, not the 60s one. But the customization options are quite good here, so if we get the right green, we can choose an old style wheel and make sure to add the rear vents on, and I think that's a pretty decent match. Next up, the Jester Classic, and I think you all know where I'm going here. It's a simple recipe, Get yourself one orange Jester, some triangle bonnet vents, the 10-minute car livery, some decent wheels, and a massive rear wing, and you've got yourself the Supra from the Fast and the Furious. Mint. Sticking with that series, we've got to have Brian's Skyline as well. And this is the second most complicated build on this floor. You start with the Anis Elegy RH8. So this is based on a more modern Nissan GTR, which fans of the film will know is the wrong car. But bear with me on this. Now this car seems to be free for everyone. Don't ask why. I wish Nissan GTRs were free in real life. Once you have this, head over to Benny's Customs, and you'll need to buy the customization package that turns this into the Elegy Retro Custom, which film and car nerds will know is also the wrong car, but it's less wrong. So this gives you the equivalent of an R33 GTR. A true replica should be based off an R34, but it's definitely close enough. From here, choose what you think is the closest colour, add the livery, the wheels, and a massive rear wing, and there you have it, Brian's Skyline. And next, for a really cool car, and this is Alonso Harris's Monte Carlo from the film Training Day. And for this, I'm using something I already have, so I'll add some upgrades to this one. I'm using the D-Class to Homer, so we need to make it black, add some nice wheels, but unfortunately this is where it falls down. In the film, this car had hydraulic suspension, and we really should be able to add this, but you just can't add it in the game. You can add it to the Willard Falcon, which looks similar, but I want it to look right. So I guess what we'll do, we'll just slam it to the deck to give it that low rider feel. And I do love how this one came out. I think I'm going to use this a lot. The penultimate build for this floor now, and it's easily the most complex and expensive one so far. So for this, I need the Vapid Apocalypse Imperator, which I can't just buy, because I don't have an arena workshop. And I don't have an arena workshop because Arena Wars pretty bad, but I just need to suck it up, buy the workshop, and complete the first mission. And by complete the first mission, I mean cancel the first mission.
Hey, you did good!
Why, thank you. That leaves me with this monstrosity. So we'll add a nice blower with a high bug catcher. We'll get rid of the rust, get some wheels, some engine upgrades, and finally get rid of that scoop, and here we have my favourite build so far, and that's Mad Max's Interceptor. I really wanted to do the pursuit car, but I couldn't find anything close to the livery, but I think this turned out really well, and I can see me using this a lot. And now my last movie car, and it has to be the AMC Pacer from Wayne's World. So we'll pick up a Rhapsody, go for a pale blue. In the film it has chrome trims on the front and slot mags on the back, but we can't do that in this game, so I'm going to go with the trims all around. Let's get some flames on the side and stick some Queen on because we're done. Floor 2 complete, and that's 10 million done so far. So it's time for the top shelf. Yep, it's time for some filth. And I've started with a car that I'm almost certainly going to sell straight away, and that's the Divest 8. Now I bought this because it looks awesome on Legendary Motorsport, but then you get it back, you park it up, and you get out, and that's when you find out that it actually looks like this.
That's disgusting.
So we're going to move on because you won't be seeing that car again. Next, it's an Imani Tech vehicle, and I'm going for the Dabachi Champion because, I mean, well, just look at it. This is a stunning car, definitely not one of the better Imani Tech cars, but if you put the right horn on it, you can scare people away. So I'm creating an orange and blue theme here. Most cars are orange and racing blue. Anything weaponized all gets chameleon paint. So this gets the chameleon orange over chameleon blue, and I am so happy with how it looks. Perfect. Next for some Lambo action. And again, I'm not going for the best, I'm going for the one I want, and that's the Zentorno. It's just such a cool looking car, and I'll definitely be using this one a lot. Sticking with Lambos, I need something from my youth. So let's pick up a Torero. Now this is quite fast for an older car, but I do think it's probably one of the best sounding cars in the entire game. So if you're just cruising around, you really can't go wrong. Massive rear wing, and then obviously the usual dilemma of wheel choice. And of course, none of my builds is complete without the clown horn. So let's boost our green credentials now and go for something electric with the Coil Cyclone 2, which somehow allows me to do engine upgrades. I'm not quite sure how that works on an EV, but I'll take it. And this is another one where I have to stick with the standard wheels because all of the others are just far too small. I don't really know why we can't change the wheel size, but I don't mind because my god, this thing is fast. So now I really need a convertible, and there is a bit of a shortage of good looking convertibles in this game, so I'm going to go with the Rapid GT. Not much to do here other than get the right wheels on it and get the roof down. Last up we have the overflawed Entity XF, which needs no justification at all because it's a Koenigsegg, and lusting after a Koenigsegg is the most perfectly normal and natural thing you can do. We'll just have a little spoiler on this and the right wheels, and there we go, absolute perfection. So that's the garage filled, but I've still got money left. So let's sort that out with two more things. The first thing being the Akula. And I know this is actually useful, but to be fair, I do want it as well, so I'm giving myself a pass for that. So we come to the last thing I bought on this spending spree, and probably my favourite thing I've bought, which surprised me too, and that's the Scramjet. Now this thing is an absolute blast. Decent weapons, decent armour, that jump and boost feature is incredible, and this seems to be pushing my Toreador out a bit and becoming my go-to car for free mode work. What a thing it is. I just wish I'd have bought it sooner. So this is what I started with, and this is what I have now. So that's just under 30 million in one spending session. So let me know in the comments which of these was your favourite, or if there are any other builds you'd like to see. And if anyone needs me, I'll be off grinding because I'm kind of skint now. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.